among the last 6 picks taken. A familiar name if you're a college football fan. Tom Brady, the quarterback who all he did was lead this football team, put them in the right position more times than not. And when he got pulled from the game and Drew Henson came in, Michigan football was not as good as it was when Brady was in.
No question, Mike. Smart experience. This past season, he cut his interception total from 98.5, tossed 20 touchdown passes, only 6 interceptions. Threw a touchdown pass in actually all 16 games he started against Big Ten opposition during his career. Accurate. It was a very catchable ball. And he really knows when to take a little off as well. I think that's the key, and he stands in that pocket very tough. He'll take a hit. Question's going to be mobility. He only runs a 5.2, 5.40. And, of course, when you have those edge pass rushers, you have to avoid the initial defensive end, the initial pass rusher. Can he do that at the pro level? Going to New England, Drew Bledsoe, his forte certainly isn't mobility. It's dropping back, throwing the football. Brady can do that, and certainly New England's offense already designed for Bledsoe. Now comes Brady. Can he overcome that lack of mobility?
Hey, this is Ray Rout from the Dear Pats Nation podcast. And like my first memory of Tom Brady's is probably the same as everybody else's. The night that Mo Lewis took out my boy Drew. And the rest is history. Tom Brady takes the field. Of course, the 2001 Super Bowl is my biggest memory. Clearly, the Patriots were, 14-point underdogs going up against the greatest show on turf. And then, I mean, that the final drive by Brady, given, and I think the whole combination of John Madden getting goosebumps and everybody thinking the Patriots are going to play for overtime, the Adam Vinatieri kick, just, phenomenal. My greatest memory of Tom Brady isn't even really Tom Brady. It's more of an interaction between me and my dad, and it's what always makes me laugh. Going into the Super Bowl, Brady was still injured. He got hurt in the AFC Championship game. Drew Bledsoe came in and won the football game for them. And my dad said to me, this Belichick guy, they got to get rid of him. You're going to play this Brady bum over Drew Bledsoe in the Super Bowl. How do they expect to win? It didn't age well, and I remind my dad of it at least 2 or 3 times a year, and I love getting that look from him. Listen, I was 15 years old when Tom Brady started playing football in the NFL. Like every kid in high school, we all grew up playing football in our backyards, and we're all Tom Brady. I was an offensive lineman, and I protected my quarterback like he was Tom Brady. It just it, and I think it's really cool symmetry to his career if this is it for the guy. Tom Brady started when I was 15 years old. My daughter is now 15 years old the year that he ends his career. His legacy is going to live forever. I love the symmetry in that. Tommy, thank you so much, buddy, for all the memories. Thank you for the Super Bowls. Thank you. Drew Bledsoe made me a Patriots fan. Tom Brady made it cool to be a Patriots fan. And I just appreciate him so much. Good luck in your retirement, boss. And, dude, Foxborough forever. That's all I can really say about it.
This has been just an incredible team, and just happy to, be a part of it. It's just a great group of coaches and teammates, and we overcame a lot of different things, and it's all worth it.
Congratulations, Tom Brady, on concluding your fantastic career, and I want to let you know how much of an impact you've had on me. You're one of my childhood heroes, and you won 6 Super Bowls, got us to 3 more, gave me so many memories, so much winning, just pride. And even when I was a little kid, I was like, Brady's going to be the GOAT. And Everyone was like, no, it's Peyton, Montana, Unitas, Favre. Nope, it was Brady. I knew it. And he's won more than any other franchise. He leads in passing yards, passing touchdowns. He's done so much great work for charities. Just the GOAT. And the greatest ever Patriot as well. 20 years with us. And gave us so many memories, especially 28-3. And after Goodell suspended him for Deflategate, where I don't really want to get into it. It's like that 28-3, I was like, it's over. Let me turn this off. And I was like, no, I don't feel like getting up to grab the clicker because I went to the bathroom and I accidentally took the clicker to the bathroom with me. And that's why I kept watching the game. And I'm glad I did because got a field goal. I believe it was to make it 28-6, or was it the touchdown first? Okay, it was 28-12. And I still thought it was over. And then the Falcons turned it over, and then we got the touchdown, and then the 2-point conversion to 8. And then I was like, I have a feeling we were going to win. And then Matt Ryan got the Falcons into field goal range, and I was like, oopsie, it's over. And I was like, please, Falcons. Falcon one more time. And they did. And as soon as I got the ball, I knew we were going to win. And then Brady threw it to Edelman, and it juggled up. And Edelman dove to make the catch. And I was like, this is destiny. The only thing is destiny. It was like, eventually we got the tying touchdown, the 2-point conversion. And we eventually won the game. And I will never, ever forget Brady holding up that trophy after. It was like the greatest feeling in the world. My only regret is I wasn't on Twitter at the time. And that's basically what made me start joining Twitter as well. And one other thing he inspired me to do was say, you're never too old or too young to do something great. That's something I've always taken to heart. And it shows that you can always make your life better, even if no one else thinks you can. Thank you to the GOAT, and I hope you enjoy your retirement, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Love you, Tom Brady.
Hello, everybody. My name is Griff Bordegon. I'm going to tilt my computer down for a second because if you can't see it right now, I'm wearing my classic white Tom Brady 12 with the iconic Super Bowl 51 patch. And I'm here today because a good friend of mine, Miss Gally Hurlbutt, reached out to me a day ago saying, hey, I'm working on a project for people who want to say some nice words about Tom and his career, what he meant to you. And I said yes in a heartbeat. I just said, I'm down, like down, no questions asked, nothing else, nothing to it. Basically my whole thing with Tom is very interesting. Sorry about that. My whole thing with Tom is interesting. Why? Because how I became a fan of the Patriots was through him. I always have the best story because in 2000, I think it was 2001. Yeah, I think it was either the divisional game against Oakland or the AFC Championship game, which I believe was the Steelers. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the Steelers. My family was down in Disney, and they had the buses that take you from like the airports to the hotels. And my parents said that there was a group of people on the buses from Boston. And the people from Boston, instead of watching like the informational videos on Disney and whatnot, they wanted to put the Pats game on. So then they put the Pats game on, and they said apparently there was me, 7-year-old. I was 7-year-old me there on the front of the bus, basically Actually, I was 8. Never mind. I was 8. 8-year-old me just in it with everyone, just loving every second of it. And pretty much I just blindly became a Patriots fan. I got my first jersey, I want to say, a couple years after that when I was, I think, 10. It was just a blue jersey. The Patriots. It was Reebok. So shout out Reebok. This is when Reebok still made the jerseys. Obviously, you get the Nike swoosh like you see right there right now, but that's neither here nor there. But ultimately, that's like where it started. Obviously, when you're a kid, you go for what's best. Like how a lot of kids now are going for Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, etc. For me, it was Tom. For me, it was Tom Brady. It always will be Tom Brady. I know today is February 1st. He officially did announce his retirement today, which I wish him nothing but the best in his retirement. He deserves nothing but the best. Overall and all, though, for me, it just means so much because I give him credit for me being the football-loving maniac that I am. I give him credit for me loving this game, me doing this podcast, giving me this outlet. I could still have done it. It's just I feel like if the energy weren't there and my fandom wasn't at the same levels as a lot of people I know who still love Tom Brady are, I don't know where it is. It's just for me, though, like my fandom skyrocketed. Now, obviously, times are different and we're on to Mac, but this video is about Tom. It's not about nothing but Tom. And so for that, look, it was great every Sunday and every year season knowing your team is going to be one of the best in the league. It was great every season knowing, hey, look, it's a Super Bowl season. It was great to see the Duck Boats. It sucks that the only time I got to see them play, though, was in 2011 in Buffalo when they lost to the Bills. When the Bills both started 0-3-0 and the Bills broke our undefeated season. We ended up going to the Super Bowl and ended up missing the playoffs, so who won that? But and all in all, I just only have to say thank you. I know some people today got hot and like a little agitated about him leaving us out, but at the end of the day, he's going to get his due in New England. Tom, as a whole, though, to me, it means the football fan that I am. To me, it means the reason why I love this game. When people say, Griffin, why do you love the game of football? It's Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the reason why I am the football fan I am today. So for that, Tom, thank you. Thank you for all the memories. Thank you for all the ups, for all the downs. And yes, there were downs, losing in the AFC Championship, Super Bowl, other playoff games, etc. Thank you for all the glorious moments. Thank you for all the countless Sundays at my TV stressing out over if we were going to beat Team X or Y. But you know what? At the end of the day, it truly felt like having Superman on your side. And for that, I have nothing but kind words, and I wish you nothing but the best in your retirement. So, Tom, for that, thank you very much. You're going to have your day in Foxborough, buddy. 2027, Canton Hall of Fame. He's going to be in there. You have nothing to worry about, people. The GOAT can now rest. And you know what? Maybe instead of having avocado ice cream, he can have some real ice cream.
Well, Tom Brady has announced his retirement from the NFL, and I'm feeling a bunch of different emotions. You know, I'm sad that this incredible ride, this magical ride we've had for 20 plus years has come to an end. But in the same breath, I'm both happy and blessed that I got to witness it and see it all happen over these past several years. I mean, Tom Brady, for me, is the greatest quarterback and the greatest player in NFL history. Like, I could talk endlessly about his resume. 7-time Super Bowl champion, 3-time league MVP, 5-time Super Bowl MVP, holds multiple records like passing yards, passing touchdowns, etc. But for me, what separates Tom Brady, I think, from a lot of the other legends and the other greats are a couple things. One, the drive. Tom Brady had more drive than anyone to be as good as he was at his job and his position, and just to win football games. Every single down, every single minute, every single play, Tom Brady treated it with the utmost seriousness and did whatever it took to win a football game. Whether he was the star or not, Tom Brady tried and more often than not put his team in the best possible situation to win football games. And that's what always kept him going. Like, he was never satisfied. Tom Brady would just keep going and going. Like, where most people would just be satisfied with like a ring or two, Tom Brady wanted to keep going. He wanted to prove more people wrong. He wanted to win more than anyone. And it was just insane and incredible that he had this this drive to keep going. It's something that I've never seen out of any other professional athlete. And, and again, just the determination he had. Here was someone who was a 6th round pick who no one thought would be a starting quarterback in the NFL. But when he got his opportunities to prove people wrong, to win football games, or to stand out amongst the rest, he took it. Tom Brady was just someone who never settled for the bare minimum. He wanted to be the absolute best, and he wanted to beat the very best. And you could see it every time he took the football field. And another thing that really was always inspirational for me about Tom Brady was just, his willingness to overcome obstacles. I mean, let's remember, for 9 years, he went without winning a Super Bowl. He lost those 2 Super Bowls to the Giants. He lost Super Bowl 52 to the Eagles. He had some other really bad losses, tore his ACL in 2008, but he never let any of those things define him. He kept moving forward. He kept pushing forward through all the hardships, the heartbreaking losses, and he was able to achieve and win more success and overcome all doubt and overcome all hardships like no one else had ever done and seen before. Even when he went to Tampa, no one thought he was ever going to win without Belichick. And in his first year, he won a Super Bowl and won Super Bowl MVP. I mean, I could keep going on and on, but, Tom Brady, he was one of the first NFL players I ever watched as a NFL fan. I was blessed to see him win 3 titles with New England, 1 in Tampa, and I got to witness so much history with this man. He was an inspiration to me on and off the field. He was class personified, and he just embodied what it meant to be a great leader, a great football player, and a good man overall. And so just to wrap up, Tom Brady, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything you've done for the New England Patriots. Thank you for everything you've done for the greater New England region, for the Tampa Bay area. And of course, thank you. Thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for entertaining me. And thank you for being a part of my life for so many years. Best of luck to you in retirement. Hail to the GOAT.
Hey guys, I'm Mike, and this is a New York Jets fan perspective on Tom Brady retiring. Now, for years I thought I'd be glad when Tom retired because he tortured us for 20 years. And then Schefter reported the news, the rumor. And I didn't pay attention to it. We hear it every single year. Tom Brady's thinking about retiring. Whatever. But when Tom actually put it out there that he was retiring, I felt something completely different than I thought I would feel when I heard the news. It's not exactly the same, but it was something similar I felt when I realized the entire core 4 of the Yankees were gone. It was like a part of my childhood died. Like it was the end of an era. I was watching Tom Brady's first game. I was 11 years old, and I just never thought I'd be hit with this rush of emotions when he retired. Fans say they hate a player. I've said I hate Tom Brady. Don't listen to it. It's fake hate. It's football fandom stuff. But I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss hating Tom Brady. I'm going to miss rooting against him no matter what team he's on. I'm going to miss the jealousy I felt every time a current or former teammate ever talked about how great of a player, a person, and a leader Tom Brady is. I'm going to miss the 6th-round underdog. I've always had a problem with finishing stories, whether it be me personally writing it or just reading it. And that's because I don't like stories to end. I don't like endings. No matter how good they are, I just don't like things to end. And I got the same feeling when reading Tom's tweet that I get when I finished a story. It was a feeling of emptiness, feeling that I lost something. The good news is this isn't a book. This is real life. Tom Brady has removed himself from the football field. I hope he comes back as a coach or an analyst. But regardless of what he does, I kind of hope that he shares it with us in some way. Because football without Tom Brady just doesn't feel the same anymore. And even as a New York Jets fan, I already miss Tom Brady.
Sideline. What a throw, Amendola. Toss to White. He's in. Patriots win the Super Bowl. Brady has his 5th. What a comeback.
Hey, what's going on, viewers of the Legacy Boston Ballin' podcast? And Tom Brady is retired. I remember when I was about 5 years old when this man was drafted back in 2000. And just to see his growth throughout these past 20 years, and let's just think about it like this, what I take away from his career. Tom Brady, not well, what do you like to call rated by the scouts back then? Of course, he didn't put up the most impressive performance in the scouting combine, mind you. However, he was so overlooked. Think about it like this. You've got 6 rounds in the NFL draft. So at least each football team, at least each of because I don't believe the Texans were a thing back then. So each of the 31 NFL teams had at least 5, count them, 5 chances to take this guy. And the New England Patriots went ahead. They took this guy, and the rest is history. You got to think about it like this, right? And the fact is, not only did he fall so low in the draft, not only was he taken by the Patriots and ultimately turned out to be a 7-time Super Bowl champion, 6 with the Patriots, 1 time with the Buccaneers, a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer. That's no argument on that. You have to think about it like this. He played until he was about 44, 45, the past 20 years, and he left at the top of his game. Let's think about that again. A guy who is about 44, 45 years old leaves, retires on his own terms, and is on the top of the NFL world. And a lot of people still think he's got 2, 3, 4, 5 more years, in his career. And so what I really took away from Brady just playing in the NFL is a couple of things. Number one, as long as you believe in yourself, anything is possible. You could be overlooked so many times, but then there's that one opportunity. And if you take it and if you crush it, boom, beautiful things are going to happen for you. And number 2, you are never too old. You are never too young. Age does not factor when it comes to your legacy. The only thing that you have to do is just do it. And Tom Brady did it with such finesse, such passion. It was a terrorizer of the New York, my team, the New York Jets, my brother's team, the New York Jets, and the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins for so long. And then for a couple of years, he terrorized the Saints, terrorized the Falcons, and terrorized the Panthers. And on a personal note, Mr. Brady, my team does have the last laugh, at least in the playoffs. I want to go back to 2015, but no, nevertheless, everybody, this was a fantastic man, a phenomenal quarterback, the best quarterback I've ever seen in my lifetime. And it's going to be a very long time before anyone is able to go ahead and pull off what Mr. Brady has done, not only for the Patriots and the Buccaneers, but if I have to be honest, the popularity of the NFL as well. And once again, I'm grateful for Gabby Harlbutt for allowing me to go ahead and just say my piece about Mr. Brady. And I hope each and every one of you who is listening to the show I hope you were able to take something away from Mr. Brady's legacy. And now we got to go ahead and we got to keep moving forward. So everybody go be great, go be blessed. Most importantly, go be yourself. Thank you.
Hello, this is JP from It's Just JP on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe down below to It's Just JP. Here for the Boston Ballin' episode about moments and memories of Tom Brady since he retired from the game today. I'll tell you what, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. Ups and downs, the Super Bowls, the way he will his team, the competitor that he is. He has to go down as the greatest of all time. He could have had more Super Bowls if it wasn't for Eli and Nick Foles to have to ruin his Super Bowl wins and everything. But Tom Brady was spectacular. A guy that could throw the ball very quickly out of that pocket. Guy that never dies, never lets his team down, never gives up on the play. When it comes down to clutch moments, especially when you give him enough time on the clock, Tom Brady will make your team suffer. My favorite memory of Tom Brady that I will remember him by is the way he willed his team from 28-3 against the Atlanta Falcons, where Kyle Shanahan, Matt Ryan in that offense, Dan Quinn, Julio Jones, Devontae Freeman, they were definitely whooping the Patriots like it was no tomorrow. The defense was just killing Tom Brady and the Patriots, but just something happened where like Tom Brady just never lets down or never dies. That Patriots team, they willed themselves to victory in that Super Bowl, and I have never seen a comeback. I have never seen a comeback like that in all my years of watching football, coming down from 28-3, and in the highest moment, which is the Super Bowl, where everybody's watching, millions of people watching, and for them to come back, leading by Tom Brady, it just tells you how great he is, man. Just tells you the competitor that he is. He will be missed. The people that hate Tom Brady, I used to be one of those people. You got to respect the guy, man. The guy wins. He's a winner at the end of the day today. And another memory I would share is 2007. That Patriots team with Randy Moss, Wes Welker. Oh my God, you talking about just that team was just dangerous. Like Tom Brady was just clicking on all cylinders and was just unbelievable that year. Him and Randy Moss, unbelievable. That was a deadly combo. And they went undefeated, and then to lose in the Super Bowl to the Giants, to Eli Manning, with the throw to David Tyree and Plaxico Burress scoring that touchdown. The defense played really well against the Patriots. Tough loss, man, tough loss. But it was so fun to watch them that season. And for him to, tell Father Time, there's a halt, stop right there. Let me go ahead and show you. Yeah, that the last season, it went well. Not the best that you can hope for, in those situations. But with the limited weapons he had, just him making that comeback, against the Rams, that was just great to see. But they just didn't get it done, and that's fine with it, But hey, he's the greatest of all time, bar none. You can say Joe Montana, Aaron Rodgers, Dan Marino, Peyton Manning, Terry Bradshaw, just naming a few quarterbacks, but Tom Oval is the best. Best, no doubt about it, though. So congratulations to Tom Brady. I hope he enjoys retirement, and maybe we might see him do analysis in the NFL. Who knows? But great player. Great player. And a guy that people never saw coming. That's why you have to really pay attention when it comes to drafts. Still remember, round 6, 199th pick in 2000, Tom Brady.
Hello, Boston Balling Podcast. This is Jared Silberkleit, and I am a lifelong New York Giants fan, here to pay tribute and bid farewell to the one and only Tom Brady, who just announced the end of the single greatest career in the history of the National Football League, and I can certainly admit that without a shadow of a doubt. Tom Brady has the most impressive resume of anyone who has ever played professional football, and I'm especially thankful for that career because it led to 2 New York Giants Super Bowl championships, including my favorite, Super Bowl 42, when the Giants ended the Patriots' attempt at the undefeated season. 19-0, became 18-1 right before our eyes. It was the greatest victory in the history of the New York Giants franchise, and it was the happiest moment of my life as a fan of professional sports. I know that there's not a single moment that has ever happened or can ever happen that could possibly top that. I was the perfect age when this happened, 14 years old. I love that Giants team to death, and they had the perfect opponent in the Super Bowl, not just because they were 18-0, but because it was the New England Patriots. It was Boston versus New York. It was this historic, record-breaking team, this record-breaking offense. Tom Brady with an unbelievable season with 50 touchdown passes, over 5,000 yards. He was breaking record after record, and that team was on its way to immortality until Eli Manning and David Tyree's helmet catch had something to say about that. But that being said, I am not too proud to recognize that that moment means as much as it does because the Giants beat the Patriots. It wouldn't have meant the same if they beat the Bengals or the Titans or the Colts or the Broncos, anybody else. It had to be the Patriots. It had to be that Patriots team. And in hindsight, even though Tom Brady, as he continued to rack up championship after championship after championship throughout his career, it made all of us non-Patriots fans so furious. But in hindsight, especially now that it's over, it's a lot easier to appreciate. It's a lot easier to appreciate the fact that we watched history being written right before our eyes. We do not have to read about it in a book somewhere because we watched the chapters being written in real time. And there's never going to be another Tom Brady. And I'm especially happy for him that if the guy had one question left to answer at the end of his career, toward the end of his career, he left the Patriots, put in a couple years at Tampa Bay. His first year, he wins the championship without Bill Belichick for the first time in his career, just to silence, if there were any doubters left, was it the chicken or the egg? Was it Brady? Was it Belichick? Brady proves he is that good. He always was that good. And I have to say, it was somewhat easier to cheer for the guy when he wasn't wearing a Patriots uniform. So I have to give Tom Brady all the credit, all the respect in the world for this legendary career and contributing to, and I mean this with no sarcasm, all right, maybe a little bit, no, the two greatest moments in my lifetime as a New York Giants fan. I recognize that those moments mean what they mean because they beat the Patriots, and that's why they're so special to me, because of all of Tom Brady's accolades, all his achievements, there's only one team that he has ever lost to in the Super Bowl twice. So thank you, Tom Brady, and enjoy your retirement.
Hey everyone, my name is Krisha and I'm out here in Dallas, Texas. What I am going to miss about Brady the most was that the game was never too big for him. No matter if it was a regular season, playoff, Super Bowl, you always knew you had a chance. So thank you, Tom, for all the incredible memories.
What's up? It's Jordan Moore here. It's a day after Tom Brady retired, and I'm still pretty upset. First of all, I feel like I understand the decision. From a family standpoint, obviously, like, you know, he's spent his last 22 seasons playing a sport, but, you know, from a playing aspect, I don't really think that he should have stepped away from the game. He was putting up MVP type numbers. He could have won the MVP this year. There's no drop off ever in his career. There was never any falling off the cliff or anything like that. So from a playing standpoint, I don't really get it, but, you know, it's a family thing. He has to, you know, spend time with his family. I still wouldn't rule out a comeback from him. You know how Tom Brady is with comebacks, but I don't know if it would be with the Bucs or another team. But it just kind of seems like his farewell post yesterday wasn't necessarily a retirement post. I think it might have been stepping away from the game and reflecting. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, he kind of pulled a Brett Favre and came out of retirement for another year, but we'll see about that. For me personally, Tom Brady definitely changed my life. I mean, I was born in 1997. He obviously rose to stardom in 2001. So he's kind of been my entire football life. He's kind of the only football I know. So it's going to be kind of awkward watching the game without him. I spent a few years in Boston covering Boston sports, so I was around him during his last year in New England, and then looked for a job elsewhere after and moved down to Tampa. And I don't really think that I would have done that without, you know, Tom Brady choosing to sign with the Bucs. So I like to think a little bit that Tom Brady changed my life in that aspect. So it'll always be a personal type of love for Tom Brady. I feel like, you know, he's probably one of my favorite athletes along with David Ortiz, and so it's going to be tough to watch the game of football without him for sure. As far as my favorite memory, I think my favorite memory watching Tom Brady would have to be the 2016 Super Bowl. And that season as a whole, you know, obviously they came back from 28-3 and beat the Falcons in the greatest Super Bowl ever. I don't know how a game could possibly top that in sports, really, especially in football. So I just think, you know, to bring another title to the city of Boston, you know, the Red Sox were hot as well. I feel like every, you know, Boston sports team was hot during the late, you know, 2010s. So it was just cool, especially after Deflategate and all that, you know, to see his post-game speech afterwards. It was just really special, and I think I'll always kind of cherish those moments. And, you know, going to his Bucs days, obviously, you know, him winning in his own stadium in the Super Bowl, something no one has ever done before, was really special to see too. And I'm definitely grateful I got to see Tom Brady play.
I was in the 5th grade when Mo Lewis hit Drew Bledsoe, and that hit obviously brought in Tom Brady, who then absolutely dominated the NFL for the next 20 years. And as a lifelong Patriots fan, I mean, what else can you say to a guy that gave you so much other than simply just thank you? What an absolutely miraculous career. Just a great guy to look up to as a kid. I mean, it was in the 2001 Super Bowl when John Madden said, "What Tom Brady just did gave me goosebumps." And I think looking back on it, that basically describes his entire career. I mean, down 28-3 to the Falcons. They were down just whatever it was, 27-3 in his very last game he ever played. They came back and tied the game. He continuously pushed the envelope. I mean, it was just absolutely miraculous to watch. And I think as a sports fan in any sport, you know, baseball, hockey, whatever it is, you could not have been more fortunate to have been a fan that had Tom Brady on their team. It was absolutely fantastic. Best of luck to Tom. I'm obviously a little sad that he's retiring. I thought we were going to get one more year out of him. I thought he was going to play to 45, but hey, go be with your family. Enjoy the rest of your life. You're still young. Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
Hey, it's Courtney Harden from The Real Deal with Courtney Harden. Just want to do this video for my girl Gabby Hurlbutt from Boston Ballin'. So shout out to her. Just wanted to jump on real quick and talk a little bit about Tom Brady and his legacy. He has retired from football officially today. So just wanted to, again, talk a little bit about it and just say that congratulations to Tom Brady for such a long and great career, one of the greatest of all time, the greatest quarterback of all time, 7-time Super Bowl champion, 7 out of 10 Super Bowls, and one of the my favorite, it's funny, one of my favorite memories of Tom Brady and his legacy, to put it in perspective, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. So when the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2017, they played the New England Patriots. And what he did in that Super Bowl, the Eagles beat them in the Super Bowl, but I was on the edge of my seat throughout the whole game because I know how great Tom Brady really is and what he's done. And the Eagles it was a back and forth game. The Eagles jumped ahead in the first half, but you could never count out Tom Brady. That's one thing that you can never do against him, is count him out. So I was holding my breath until the final moment because he got the ball back with a little bit over a minute left and drove him down the field, almost drove him down the field, and then he did a Hail Mary. And so I had to make sure that ball was knocked down before the Eagles won the Super Bowl. But that's the fear he puts in. That's the fear that he put in teams, was you just can't leave a lot of time for him. So, but man, this guy, like I said, he's in the category. His legacy is such cemented. He's in the category with players like Michael Jordan and athletes like Michael Jordan, like Wayne Gretzky, Babe Ruth, Willie Mays, Bill Russell. He's in that elite category. And one other thing for me, I was definitely a fan of Tom Brady, and I was a huge fan of Joe Montana. So when I used to get in arguments with a lot of my friends and just people around the industry, the sports media, I always put Joe Montana above him at that time, until Brady just kept winning and kept dominating for a long stretch, because Montana, what he did in the Super Bowls, uh, just dominating the way he did, Brady took it to another level. So now he's got even more rings, 7 championships to Joe Montana's 4. And Joe Montana's one of the greatest of all time himself. But again, this is for Tom Brady and his legacy, and it's cemented. And the next thing for Tom Brady is Canton, Hall of Fame, first ballot, easily one of the top 5 greatest players of all time in the NFL. So I salute Tom Brady and his legacy, and looking forward to see what he's got going on, because he could do TV, and he kept himself in great shape, and he played 22 years. So I mean, that's unheard of in any sport. So all credit due to Tom Brady, and the best of luck to him, what he's going to be accomplishing after football.
Man, where do I even begin with Tom Brady's legacy? Growing up in the golden era of New England football was such a blessing, and it gave me some of the best memories growing up. I met some of my closest friends in college watching Pat's games, especially the notorious butt fumble in the fall of 2015 against the New York Jets. I remember early on, my first memory of Tom Brady as a quarterback, my gym teacher made a bet with a kid at my school that if the Eagles won, he would dye his hair green, but if the Patriots won, he would dye his hair red and blue. And sure enough, Tom Brady and the Pats got the job done, and that teacher dyed his hair red and blue. And I remember watching that game, and that was the game I became a Pats fan. I remember in college when they played the Falcons in the Super Bowl, and just as we were about to think all hope was lost, they made probably the best comeback in Super Bowl history. And that was an experience I will never forget and forever cherish. Thank you, Tom Brady.
What's up, Bobby Thompson here. Talking about Brady, I could sit here for hours, but what Tom Brady meant to me, and now he's retiring, the fact that he is I never thought this day would come. I thought he could play forever. Growing up in watching and being a Patriot fan my whole life, it wouldn't be that way without Tom. You know, Tom means a lot to me. You know, I've never got a chance to meet him, and I wish I did. Maybe one day I will. But the one thing about him is he's an inspiration. He's a 6th-round pick, 199th overall. You know, he was overlooked. No one gave him a shot. And then when it came down to be given a shot, he just made the most of it. And he's the greatest of all time. And everything about him is championship level. I love him to death. It breaks my heart that he left the Patriots, but he'll always be a Patriot. He'll be retiring with the Patriots and signing a one-day contract, I could tell you that. But seeing him down here in Tampa it's just weird, but I'm happy for him. He's ending his career. He's going to come home. But Tom, thank you for everything. Thank you for making guys like me, underdogs who look up to people like you, making football fun. And thank you for giving us Patriots fans 20 years of greatness. And we'll miss you. We will always be here for you, and thank you.
Hey, Gabby and everyone watching or listening to Boston Balling right now. On behalf of Tom Brady's retirement, I'd like to share a few memories of his awesome career. The first one comes in at the Super Bowl when the Patriots played the Seattle Seahawks, and they were down in the fourth quarter 24-21 with a few minutes left in the game, and Tom Brady marched down the field, scored the what we didn't know at the time was a game-winning touchdown. So it was 28-24 Patriots. When Seattle got the ball back, Patriots fans everywhere thought, uh-oh, here comes Seattle, we're going to lose the Super Bowl. But you know what? Seattle threw an interception at the half-yard line by Malcolm Butler, who pretty much saved us the game, so that was pretty awesome. The second one comes in at, well, everyone knows this story, the greatest comeback in Patriots and NFL history. Patriots and the Falcons. So the Falcons were basically kicking our butts 28-3 for most of the game, and Patriots were like, oh, hang on, we may be down, we're certainly not out yet, but we have the GOAT, Tom Brady. So what does he do? He brings us all the way back, ties the game, sends us to overtime, and we win it. So it was just, those two Super Bowls were just absolutely magnificent and like the best football and Super Bowls I've ever seen. And just what a great career Tom Brady had. And the NFL is just not going to be the same without him. And I wish Tom Brady the best of luck, and go Pats.